What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Surviving Bedrock. Now, today is actually not Halloween, but this episode should be coming out about the Halloween time. And over in the UK, if you're over in the US, we don't really celebrate Halloween all that much over here. You get the occasional family going around trick-or-treating, but it's not a widespread sort of celebration or festivity that it is over in the US like it is. So it didn't really occur to me to do anything special for Halloween, but there is a project that is sort of Halloween adjacent related, and that is I actually want to get a cemetery done for our chapel area. Now what I was thinking is sort of bringing in a wall out around this area here, and then sort of cutting off an area going along here. Basically where our pumpkin patch is at the moment, we're going to be getting rid of all of that. Sort of doing a little bit of terraforming around here, maybe some like a little mausoleum, surrounding wall, a load of tombstones maybe. But I need to come up with a design for all of that. There is one little thing that bugged me when I first came back over to Sarah, because I've been working over in the sort of new massive hostile and passive mob farm, flattening it out still. So many hours have been spent over there already, by the way. And it is coming along bit by bit, but it's all the boring, grindy work at the moment. Now, when I came over here, I was a little bit annoyed with one of... Well, it's weird. Well, I'm not sure when it came in or when it would have broke. But what used to happen is that if we had a red block here with a redstone block, shall I say, with a trapdoor there. Now, usually that would automatically get opened if you place a trapdoor next to it. But if we get a piston, let's say, let's just do that, and then we break it. Now, usually when this gets pushed back over to the redstone block, this should automatically close. And for some reason, that has changed. I don't know when that came in, or why it came in, or what came around to make that change. But as you can see, if we were to then place a redstone block at the trapdoor, it will then close. That's what I don't understand, which is really, really weird. So I'm not sure if it's a case where the trapdoor being moved over to the redstone block is not reading the redstone block as being a redstone signal being placed there. But it's one little thing that sort of broke our cathedral doors, which then made me have to come up with a fix for it, and I'll quickly show you that fix, because it may look like a little bit of a mess at the moment, but it's the only fix I could sort of think of, and that was by getting the the redstone blocks to be pushed over after the doors had then closed and opened. So I had to change around some of the timings, and underneath is a complete mess, but the way it opens isn't nearly as nice and neat as the way it was. So when you open it, you get 4 layers of it all sort of open up, but it's enough room for you to then come in, and they will then all close back to normal. So the fix that I've had to do for this is I had to run a redstone line directly above with some sticky pistons, connected to a bunch of redstone blocks, which are then pulling them back and forth. And underneath here, I had to change around a load of the timings for it to actually work that way. Because I had to link it with the initial door opening and closing, this is our comparator timer. So this will stay on for a certain amount of time after pressing the button. And then I had to make sure that the redstone blocks were pulled away first of all, before the doors opened, and then pushed back after the doors had closed. So I had to get a signal to the redstone blocks first, and then also take the signal away last, which was a little bit difficult. I actually ended up having to send 2 separate signals going to that same line. So you've got a redstone torch tower just over there. You've got our first line, which is on the left, which will then bring the redstone blocks back. And then this second line over here is, 8 ticks of delay, compared to the only 2 ticks of delay that I've got on either side of the actual doors. And that way the timings ended up coming into thing. It took me a while to actually implement that, but it's just a little... if you know why, because I've gone over all the change logs in the last few updates, and none of them have detailed regarding trapdoors being activated or deactivated by redstone blocks being there before they're moved into position or after they're moved into position. Yeah, try say that 3 times. That is not what we're doing today. So all of this can go. So yeah, what I'm going to do is off camera, I'm going to quickly get a little bit of designing sort of work done off camera. Did I say off camera? I'm fairly sure I did. I said that twice in the same sentence. Yeah, I want to get a few wall designs because I'm not too sure what sort of wall design to go for to border it off. I'm probably thinking iron gates. Is it iron gates or iron fence on top of maybe cracked stone bricks and mossy stone bricks? Because we're going to have to make it look a little bit sort of worn down and old. I still got to do the same for this building as well. I've got to throw in like cracked bricks here and there. I may throw in some andesite as well just to break it up because it looks very neat and polished still, which I'm not overly keen on, but yeah, that's something to work on. So I'm going to get on with that. Once I've come up with a few wall designs, I'll bring you back, and once I've sort of set out this area ready to be worked on, then yeah, I guess I'll see you back shortly. Alright then guys, so a quick update as to where I am with this whole designing the wall process. I've got a few different variations up and there's a few points that I like about some of them and not so much. One is I'm not too keen on it being just grey, and that's purely because it doesn't stand out, but then again it's a graveyard, the walls themselves are not meant to stand out, so I'm sort of in two minds whether or not to introduce the wood into the design of the wall, but we've got a lot of wood going on around us in the builds, especially with the build behind. We don't want to be drawing away attention to the cathedral. This is purely just going to be like a perimeter thing to it, so I'm thinking we should just lean towards a grey. Which is, yeah, probably the better bet. Now, I've got a few variations here. One is of a sort of broken up wall design. I really do like this sort of style where it's just chaotic and random. It looks like a wall was built here ages ago and it's sort of weathered and worn away. But the thing with a solid wall like this one and the one at the end here, this one looks very too clean cut to be a sort of graveyard wall. So I'm thinking for this is probably going to be a sort of design concept that we go for our mini mausoleum that I want to put inside the graveyard. And this one, when we're walking past it, I think if the wall's coming out to about this thing and we're on the pathway, I still think it's going to be blocking off too much of the view of our cathedral behind it. So as for a solid wall, I love this sort of concept and this idea, but I think it is just too solid. I think you need to be able to see through it a bit to get the full effect of what's behind it, because obviously we're going to want to be able to see the graveyard behind the wall. So I think this one and the one at that end is probably out. Now the choice is between a high profile or a low profile. I'm not too keen on the wall underneath there, to be honest with you. How about if we try some upward down, upside down stairs? That doesn't actually look too bad. And no, have we got any stone brick stairs? Because them all being done out of cobblestone looks very sort of plain and boring. So if we bash out a couple of them and throw in that and that. Unfortunately, we can't get the mossy stone bricks or cracked stone brick stairs, which I'm hoping is meant to be coming out in the next update. Well, the main update. They're bringing in loads of different half slabs and stairs, so fingers crossed for that. And I'm not too sure if these side parts should be taller than just one high, because we've got a half slab sitting on top, but we could probably bring that up by a little bit. Say do one of them and one of them. Do like it, but I think I'm leaning towards the higher profile wall, because them bits being that higher would mean that we have to bring up the middle bit higher, and then it would then still look sort of out of place. If we do that, and then we get a couple of the half slabs and throw them on top of there. That doesn't actually look too terrible. But once again, it's I don't know why I'm in an iron about this so much. It should just be very simple, but it's not for me. I do like the little indent here, and then from the inside it doesn't look too bad because you're just going to see the inside of the steps there. This one's going to be the same from both sides, and you can still see through the fence gate. Is it fence gate? Iron bars, I mean. They're pretty much identical, apart from we have stairs there. Instead of the top bits there, we have half slabs. Instead of them bits there, we just don't have them there. So we try having wall up there. Yes, I don't really like the way that looks. It sort of suits in path because we've got the bits of iron bars pointed at the top there. Let me have a think. Let me just put that back onto there. This one looks a little bit more clean cut. I think I may just go for the high profile one and just see where we go and just try to, because I think this one is a lot more warpable for different sort of sizes and so on. So what I'm going to do is I'm sort of going to map out an area of where the wall's going to go. I'm going to quickly crack that out. Otherwise I'm going to end up wasting far too much time doing just this simple bit when there's other bits of the graveyard that I actually want to get into. Or more fun stuff than just the designing of the outside walls. So yeah, once I've got the outside wall done and I've sort of laid out a pathway through it, I'll bring you back. Alright then guys, so I've managed to get the wall completely done. I've ended up expanding it all the way to the actual end of the cathedral. Now because each segment is the same sort of length as our window, and it's sort of 5 wide with intercepting walls in between them, I've managed to clock it off right at the end there and also at the other end. So I decided to encase the tree into our graveyard, which I think was a nice little touch to it. And I think the sort of high profile wall works pretty well with it because it doesn't block the view of the actual cathedral like at all, which I'm quite happy about. This is our gate. This still needs quite a bit of work. I'm not too sure what design to end up with this. And the thing with this is that I actually need it to be completely blocked off, because at night time I've figured out a way that I actually want the graveyard to sort of become alive at night time with zombies. And what we're going to be doing with that is that we've actually got a zombie spawner, I do believe, somewhere underneath here. Can I get a shovel on me? Oh, don't die. Thank God for that. Yeah, we've got a zombie spawner down here. So I'm thinking of a way of being able to Sherpa these guys up to surface inside of a mausoleum, and then have the mausoleum activate at night time to allow the zombies to come out. Can we end the pelt out? And there. I thought that was a lot closer to the surface than it is. Unfortunately, it's a lot lower down, which means we'd actually have to go down there to get zombies to spawn, to then come up here for it then to become sort of alive. But I think it'll be a nice little touch for when we do want it. Either that or we could get zombies up here through the mausoleum and place them in areas like covered by shelter, so that time during the daytime they don't become like burnt. Hopefully they might just run to surfaces where there's blocking the sunlight, like over here. But yeah, that's something to work out in between cuts, I reckon. But first of all, what I actually want to do is build a mausoleum over in this area here, sort of get a pathway running down the centre, sort of zigzagging a bit, just to make sure that it's not going straight anywhere, and then probably throw in some graves actually. So in a pretty quick time lapse first person, unfortunately, because I really can't be asked to log another character in to get a third person time lapse of this, we're going to crack on with the mausoleum. Okay guys, so as you saw, I quickly smashed out this mausoleum. Well, my best attempt at a mausoleum, that is. It's not overly impressive. I think there's still quite fine, or a few fine details that I can do. I still need to work on the roof. I wasn't too sure as to what to do with the roof. I chose to implement some of the wood blocks just for a bit of colour variation. Also included some mossy cobblestone walls just for a little bit of colour variation. But what I have implemented here is a light day or a daytime sensor or a nighttime sensor, depending which way you have it switched on. As soon as it gets to nighttime, this will then unpower the sticky piston, which will retract the redstone block, which will deactivate the redstone torch, which is running underneath the central fence. So if we can see it in action now, come on time. I'm hopefully got this recording just at the right time so that we can actually see what happens when it becomes dark enough. Come on. It should happen any second now. As soon as it becomes dark enough that zombies won't actually burn up, we want this central gate to open, is what the aim is. And there we have it. Apparently it has to be really, really dark, but now at least when it is this dark and the gate opens, the zombies can then come out and they could then wander around the graveyard. So that's the hopes and dreams of this little side project. So what we can do with all of this is block off all of that, block off all of this, just so that we can't see all the innards of it, and do something like that, and then just fill in the roof a little bit, like so. Nice, so that looks 10 times better with all of that covered up. And that way what we're going to have is a little 1x1 gap over here where the zombies are going to come up in a water stream. Hopefully, fingers crossed, if it all works out alright. I should really sleep before it gets like stupidly infested with mobs at the moment. Last thing I need right now is a creeper on the case. Yeah, I had to make a little jump cut for that gate. That now you can see the gate's now locked because it's come daytime. And that way any new zombies that do come up won't be burnt up straight away. They can then wander out at night. Have we got any mobs spawn anywhere? A quick look around. Can't see any immediate threats, so I think we're all safe there. I done a pathway leading through the central bit over here, and I wasn't too sure on how to do the gravestones. So I was looking online as well in between jump cuts, and there's tons of different sort of formations that you could do. Most of them use like steps or fence posts. Get some of them on my hotbar. Some of you. Let's grab some mossy stone. Let's grab some of you. You. And what else can we use? Grab you. Okay, so we've got, I think we could throw a few variations of them about. So if we do, that looks way too chunky though, doesn't it? Yeah, that just looks rubbish. There was one that was like that, and then like that as a gravestone with the grave coming out. And then we could put down some podzol or some dirt blocks. Or let me see, what other sort of designs can we come up with? We have one of you. Very simplistic gravestone. Yeah, I'm erming a lot because I have no idea what I'm doing right now. I've honestly never attempted to actually make gravestones in Minecraft before. I think I may actually have to have a look online a little bit more to see if there's any designs that I prefer, because obviously my designs ain't coming out looking too much. But what I am going to do in between this cut and the next one is I'm going to get the zombie room down below there all cleared out, boxed off, and probably a little AFK spot that I could drop down to and then jump back up from. And then I'm going to have them funneled off over to inside the mausoleum. So Bit of a jump cut for me, but I guess I'll see you back shortly. Okay guys, now just because time is getting on a bit, I decided to, rather than doing more jump cuts and giving you progress updates, I've pretty much just gone and finished it off. I've done the best that I can as in regards to sort of design and whatnot. We've got a load of zombies built up in the little mausoleum already, waiting for nightfall. Now, I've done numerous different types of patterns for the tombstones. So we've got like the double stairs there. We've got just a single block with a single stair on top there. We've got some flower pots dotted about. I've used podzol and coarse dirt dotted about as the actual graves themselves, which I think looks alright, but I'm still not 100% landed on it. Put some cobwebs about the place, just to make it look a little bit more eerie and haunted. We've got a symbolic cross tombstone at the back here, just because there's quite a bit of room, and I don't know, just for like an end piece for this area. Now initially I was going to be using just the pumpkins as lighting, and then I decided to use some brown carpet with some fire underneath. Now if you're wondering how I've managed to do that, it was weird. I didn't even realise that it could be done until I started messing about with it. What did I do with, oh, there's the carpet. And flint and steel should be in my utilities. And then we just need some string, which is there. So what I was doing with this is clear some inventory room, please. Get you, and get you. So you just clear, there we go, words. Clear a couple of blocks, put a piece of string down on one side, put the fire on that side. You could put a carpet on top of the string, and then if you aim just at the edge of that carpet, you could then place the carpet above the actual fire, and then you could break that bit of carpet. That bit of carpet won't actually break off. Get the bit of string back, and then you sort of block it in, and that way you sort of get a lot of light aerating from that, and then you also get the effect of the little flames coming up, which I think is a nifty little touch. So all happy days there. That's what I've done. So this area is actually pretty much well lit up at night. So I've got one over here. I've got a couple on the actual graves themselves. It's getting to night time, so I better sort of sharpishly get out of this area before it gets too dark. Yeah, so I've sort of lit it up as well as I could without it being too obtrusive, and I think it adds just a nice little touch. Initially, I was just going to use redstone torches. I've done redstone torches for inside of here, and they do add a nice, I did initially put them underneath the carpet. You do get a tiny little bit of light, but nowhere near enough light as to what I wanted. Now, before they all escape and end up absolutely wrecking my face, let's get out of there, eat some steak, and let's have a first look to see if this thing actually works the way that I wanted it to. If we just hop up there. Last time I threw one just before getting up here, there was an endermite that came out. Can I get onto the tree without being in the tree? No? There we go. Yeah, so overall, I'm quite happy with the way the graveyard or cemetery has come out. I'm quite happy with the external walls going around. I think it looks very, very cemetery-like, if you can use that as an adverb. Or a verb? Adverb? I'm not too sure. My grammar's terrible, by the way. I'm trying to go back to English secondary school lessons, and yeah, this grammar's just all over the place. But I'm quite happy the way that it's turned out overall. I'm quite happy with the pathway. It's no straight edges anywhere. But please let me know in the comments below. First of all, if you want your name put on a gravestone, leave me a comment with a suggestion on how I can improve this area. Like any little tips or tricks that you know of that I could do to make it look a little bit more sort of eerie and haunted. Now, I've got a fly just fly into my face there. Cheers for that. So yeah, so we've got them now coming out. I don't know why we've got a drowned there. He must have drowned in one of the bits of water halfway through the little tube bit. And then the zombies will sort of come out. They will sort of just wander around till daytime. Now, the last night I did check it. A few of them did actually try to leg it back in before daytime. But as you can see, they all just sort of come out, and it just adds that more of a walk-in dead sort of vibe to the cemetery. Like at night time it comes alive, and now we've got all the dead just wandering about, which I think adds a nice little touch. So I'm extremely pleased with the way it turned out. I didn't think it was actually going to turn out looking this good. Initially in my plans it was going to be nowhere near as big as it is, but I'm quite happy that I did go as big as this, because the gravestones, or the tombstones and the graves, take up quite a lot of room. The mausoleum at the end, that is much smaller scale version than the one I actually wanted to do, and I think that's coming out, well, it's come out looking pretty decent. And the Walking Dead about at night time is a nice little touch. But for today, I think that's going to do it for our Halloween special, because this is more form over function, and quite a few of my episodes lately have been more cosmetic and just making stuff look good, and I thought this was going to add a nice little eerie touch to our village. So yeah, all pleased. Hopefully you've enjoyed today's episode, and hopefully I've not said too much. I've realised that in the past few minutes I've said it about 20 times trying to think of what to say. But hopefully you've enjoyed the episode either way, and I'll hopefully see you all in the next one. Bye bye.